We're here to go. We're here to do it. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you guys doing? How you guys feeling? I had a little bit of a different intro today for those of you guys who are unfamiliar with how we usually get things started. I started up a little bit differently on TikTok for you guys. Oh, sorry, let me get rid of the echo there. I started a little bit differently on TikTok for you guys. I hope you guys were able to enjoy the different intro there. Okay. Sorry, let me get rid of the echo. My apologies. There we go. I hope you guys were able to enjoy. Let me know if there's still an echo. I hope you guys were able to enjoy the different startup. I tried to switch it up and make it a little bit more interesting for those of you guys on TikTok. I see Madison in the YouTube chat was like, yo, he's late again. I was kind of late, just making sure I could figure out the intro. That way, when we get started, when we get in here, everyone's kind of already in here, and then we can get going as soon as possible. Okay. So I want to make sure we can all do that. Let me get rid of this. Okay. So did you guys enjoy the intro? I hope for those of you guys on TikTok, I hope you enjoyed the intro. Cherise says the intro was cool. I see SA said it was very interesting, but nice. Okay. I'm gonna try to add some stuff to it. Batiste said this is beautiful. Yes, so calming. Okay. Good. I'm glad you guys enjoyed the intro. I'm gonna try and I'm gonna keep it in there, and I'm gonna make it even better. It's gonna be, I'll make some stuff, like a really interesting interactive experience. Okay. I'm glad you are all with me, and see, this is the beautiful part. We get start right away. I don't gotta wait for anyone. Okay. So let's get started. You know how we do it. To get started, we do roll call. So if you're here, you're participating in the chat, you're participating with me and everyone else in the chat, you got to say here or present so that I know you're paying attention. You're participating with me and participating with everyone else in the live stream. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I want everyone saying president here. That includes those of you on YouTube, because those of you on YouTube are part of the experience as well. Just as much. Okay. So I need everyone telling me they're president here. I see Madison's here in the YouTube chat. Madison's been waiting. She's been waiting. She's like, you're late today. She's been waiting. Obviously, SH is here. We got Cherise here, my top two students. Enlightened Nate says, your head looks so small today. I think it's the type of hat I got on. It's really compressed on the head top, the type of hat I got going on. Don't worry. Probably tomorrow I won't have no hat on because I'll have a haircut. It's just I be having so much to do every single day. By the time I be like, yo, I'm trying to hit my barber up for a haircut, it's just crazy. And I got to come on here looking like properly for you guys, Okay, so I'm glad everyone's here. Of course, we had Brianna number one again. Oh yeah, for those of you guys who didn't know in the TikTok chat, Brianna is one of our brand new moderators. So she'll be able to moderate in the chat along with SH and along with Cherise. So if you have any questions that are commonly answered, they'll likely be able to answer your question. You don't got to DM them like personal questions, but like as it relates to the live stream in the chat, if you have a question for them, you can definitely feel free to ask them. And if they answer your question, then just take that as the answer. Okay. So let's get started today. Today, we're going to be talking about, for those of you guys who didn't get a chance to see it on YouTube, how to tell if he's using you. Okay. Specifically today, we're going to talk about 7 signs that you will be able to tell if he's using you. 7 signs to tell that he's using you. Okay? That's what we're going to be discussing today, because I want all of you beautiful, intelligent women, and maybe there's some men in the chat, to be able to tell the difference between a guy who really likes you and a guy who's just using you. I know for some of you guys that have more experience, maybe some of you that are a little bit older, because I know we got some older people in the chat. Not everyone's in their 20s. We got some people in their 30s, which is perfect fine. We got some people in their 40s. I even think we got some people in their 50s watching me as well. So, and if you're older than that, even better. Okay, so you got so much life experience. I understand that some of the things that I probably mentioned, you'll be like, oh, I already knew that, that's easy for me, of course, straightforward, right? But keep in mind, we all uh, are only able to understand those things and understand relationships by experiencing them. So at one point we didn't know those things. So maybe some things might be new to you. Maybe some things you might have already experienced before. But I guarantee you, if you listen for long enough, you'll probably learn something or open your eyes, or I don't know, something will click for you. It's never a bad thing to have more knowledge and more information. Okay. So this will be a really good topic. I'm actually not going to introduce all 7 of them. I want to take our time with them, and then as we go along with them, you guys will be more introduced to them. Okay, don't pay attention to my small head today, with my small hat. Okay, so number 1, we have comfort. Okay, number 1 is comfort as it relates to how to tell if a guy is using you, or sorry, not. I had yesterday's list out. Oh my goodness. Sorry, that was from yesterday's list. Okay. Sorry, I had yesterday's list out. I try to prepare as much as I possibly can, so I got my notes out and everything. This is for today's notes, okay? So number 1, we have inconsistency. Okay. Number 1, we have inconsistency. Okay. Now, some of you guys might be like, oh yeah, well, pretty straightforward. If he's inconsistent with me, of course, he's not really interested in me. And of course, he's probably using me. But a lot of us don't really understand what inconsistency really means. Okay. Because a guy can treat you well. A guy can take you out on dates. A guy can be respectful towards you, right? A guy can show and tell you that he wants to be with you, yet still be inconsistent. I think a lot of times when we imagine inconsistency, we imagine someone like ghosting us or not texting us for like an entire week. You know what I mean? Just something like extreme. But I want you to understand also the people that are treating you well when they're around you can be inconsistent with you. And keep in mind, there's a difference between being inconsistent and genuinely like having obligations and responsibilities and being busy and not being able to be with you and around you 24/7, right? Even someone who is busy or has a schedule, in the process of being busy and having a schedule, can, if they care enough about you, they can let you know, hey, I got this going on, I got that going on. So I'm just letting you know ahead of time that, you know, I won't be able to hang out, I won't be able to talk, I won't be able to whatever, right? There's a difference between inconsistency and being busy. There's a difference between inconsistency and having a schedule that you got to stick to, right? There's a difference between inconsistency and having responsibilities. I don't want you guys to get all ruffled up anytime a guy can't see you 3 times a day. You know what I mean? Like, I want you guys to understand that, yes, he's allowed to be busy. Yes, he's allowed to have a schedule. Yes, he's allowed to have things that he wants to do for himself. But being inconsistent is a very different story. Okay. I'm gonna elaborate on the difference. Okay. Being inconsistent, right? Because you can still be inconsistent and be a nice guy. You can still be inconsistent and be a respectful guy, is really about the fact that they are only usually only giving you attention or paying attention to you or caring about you when it serves them. And when it doesn't serve them, they aren't that bothered about you or what's going on with you or your life or anything about you. Okay. So I'll give you an example. Okay. Inconsistency would be if you were to go out on a date with a guy. Okay. And he's like, okay, yeah, you know, leading up to the date, right? Let's say a couple of days before, a day before, right? He's texting you and all that good stuff, right? Because it's leading up to the date and he knows he wants to see you. He wants to secure the date, all that good stuff, right? So he's texting you. You understand him to be a particular person, right? So he texts you, he calls you, he keeps up with you, all that good stuff. You guys go on the date and let's say you guys don't have sex. Oh, I don't want to say sex. You don't have pineapples. Okay? Or actually, let's even say that you do have pineapples. And then after the date, right, all of a sudden, he goes back to his personality or the way he deals with you or approaches you changes. Because beforehand, before you guys went on the date and when you guys hadn't had pineapples, he was more than willing to go out of his way to text you, and more than willing to go out of his way to call you, and more than willing to go out of his way to, oh, I'll pick you up in the car. Oh, I got this, but I'll move it around so that I can be with you so that we can hang out, or whenever you want, whatever time is good for you, this and that. He was super accommodating, nice and respectful, right? So you understood that as his baseline. And then all of a sudden, after you guys had pineapples together and you gave him your Squirtle, now all of a sudden he's really busy. Now, all of a sudden, he's got a lot of work stuff going on. Now, all of a sudden, he's got this massive schedule to keep up with. And you don't really hear from him for about a week or so, okay? Like barely even hear from him, barely even get texts, definitely don't get calls. And then after about a week and a half, you get this flood of text messages and calls. What are you up to? Where you been? Where you been at? Yo, why you don't talk to me no more? Da da da. Oh, I just been busy. Yo, you trying to go out? You trying to come over to my place? What are you trying to do today? Like, and they'll usually text you, right? They'll text you or they'll call you or they'll speak to you and be like, yo, I apologize for not being able to check in or whatever the past couple of days or the past week. Can we hang out today? Can we hang out tomorrow? Can we hang out in an hour? Right? And that's inconsistency, because the flood of messages and calls and text, when it's like, okay, we're going to meet up. Can we meet up? I want to meet up. So now my personality is going to be of someone, I can make time for you. Oh, I had a work thing, but I can move the work thing. Oh, I had a family thing, but I can move the family thing. Oh, I was supposed to do this, but no, I'll hang out with you instead. When it comes to, he's ready, right? He's ready. But at the times where maybe he's not ready, he's got other things to tend to, maybe he's just bored of you, maybe he's not that interested, okay? All of a sudden, his personality changes. All of a sudden, his approach changes. So now you're getting this inconsistency in character. Do you understand what I mean, right? The inconsistency I'm talking about is not just the schedule, because someone can be busy one week and then be not busy the next week. It's the inconsistency in character. Okay? LaFemme said, my heart's been broken by a dusty guy. Well, I hope this will stop for you forever, right? It's the inconsistency in character that you have to be even more aware of. Because if he's inconsistent with this character, it's more than likely because he's using you for your Squirtle. Okay? Because a man who's really interested in you, a man who really wants you, and I'm talking about genuinely interested in you and genuinely wants you not just for your Squirtle, but wants to be with you, is going to be consistent in his character. So whether he's busy or not, he's still going to try to make time for you, right? He's still going to try to call you. He's still going to try and be around. He's still going to try and schedule his time with you. Even if he's so busy that he can't call you or text you or message you or whatever, he'll at least get ahead of it and schedule out time with you, block out time with you, or let you know that he's going to be busy, right? The moment you start meeting someone or meeting a guy and you feel like you have an understanding of who he is and how he thinks, and he becomes a little bit predictable in terms of how you think he'll react to things and respond to things. And then all of a sudden, certain situations happen and now he's not reacting or responding to you the same way that you're accustomed to him reacting or responding to you. That is a sign of inconsistency in character, because as time goes on in your relationship with that guy, you're meant to be understanding him better as time goes on. The process of learning him, right, and getting to know him should make you more and more familiar with who he is, what his personality is, and how he approaches life and how he approaches this relationship with you. So as time goes on, that should become more familiar to you, and you should become more used to that. So if time is going on and you become more and more confused, because you get him like this one day, then you get him like this another day, then you get him like this another day, and like this another day, that tells you there's a lot of inconsistency in the character. And usually when someone is inconsistent in their character, that tells you they got something else going on, whether it be they got an ex still in their life that they're going to see and hanging out with, whether they got an ex that they're just not over, right? Whether they're not healed from whatever they've been through, whether they're just not in a mental state to even be dating anyone in general, right? Or the worst case scenario, I guess, for you, that he really isn't interested in you at all and he just wants to use you for your Squirtle. That's like the nightmare scenario, right? But all of those things, right? All of those issues would stem from that inconsistency, right? Because you're only going to get that inconsistency in the character when there's something else going on behind the scenes. This is why I always talk to you guys about your intuition, right? And being able to kind of silence your mind and trust your gut and trust your ability to feel things with your soul and your spirit. That's why I talk so much about the spirituality and the manifestation and all that good stuff, because the more tapped in you are to your spirit and your soul and how you feel, right, internally, the easier it will be, right, to tell when things aren't what they seem, or to tell when things aren't going how they're supposed to be going. Right? Bay said if he's inconsistent, he gotta go. I mean, as that's how you should feel. If he's inconsistent with you, he's gotta go. Okay. Toomey said, and some men just want to see if you will chase him. It's true. It's true. It's true. That inconsistency is always gonna key into you that he's not there for the right reasons. Okay. And if he's not there for the right reasons and he's investing his time and his energy into you, that will tell you that he's just using you. And what more could he really be using you for if you're a woman and he's a man than your Squirtle? You should know by now. You should be very aware by now. Okay. Number 2, we have late nights. Late nights. Let me know in the chat right now, both on YouTube and TikTok. Do you know what I mean by late nights? What do I mean by late nights? We're going to get to it, but I want to make sure you guys are paying attention. What do I mean by late nights? What do I mean by late nights? Sheer says I have every color in that hoodie. I would hope so. This is the best hoodie ever. My friend made it. My friend owns the brand. He only hits you up at night. Okay, 999. Texting late at night, Bay says. Enlighten A says being a booty call. Enlighten A so smart. 999, especially after hours. Okay, he only pops up in the witching hour. Late night meetups. Excuse me. He only available at night, Puleng says. Batia says calling you in the middle of the night. Okay. Are you still up, Tex? What are you doing? Madison in the YouTube chat says, what you doing up this late? What you on? Okay. Only available at night. If he texts you, is he the one? Oh, sorry, I couldn't read that right. Only asking to hang out at night. Okay. JLo says I don't even respond at night. Good. You guys are so smart. So smart. Late nights, what I'm referring to is the idea, not the idea. Late nights is when guys are texting you or calling you specifically late at night to hang out right now, right this second. They'll usually present it to you as if the desire just has been burning inside them and they're hitting you up or texting you or messaging you right now at this second because the desire is so great and so unbelievably strong that there is no choice for them but to see you right now, this second, right? They're usually not going to tell you, hey, my desire is underneath my waist and it's about 2 inches and it's rock solid. That's the desire I'm talking about, right? They're usually not going to say that. They're going to make you feel like the desire is really about their desire for you. and the person that you are, and that they just, you're just such a princess. You're just such an amazing, beautiful woman, and intelligent mind, that being in your presence would literally satisfy them and fulfill them to the fullest. That's how they'll usually try to present it to you. But after a while, you'll get to realizing that if they're going to hit you up only when it's late at night, it's because he's really trying to use you. That's really what's happening. He's not hitting you up late at night because you're the most amazing, special person that he's ever met. Because in reality, he could hang out with you perfectly fine at 2 p.m. on a Tuesday. He could hang out with you perfectly fine at 6 p.m. on a Wednesday. He could hang out with you perfectly fine anytime during the day when the sun is out. So the idea that he would specifically only text you and call you when it's late at night should tell you a lot about how he really feels about you. Because there's really not too much great conversation that you're going to have in a car late at night. I'm not saying that you should never hang out with the guy late at night, but you should also be aware of if he's only calling you and texting you late at night. Because it goes back to the inconsistency where you don't really get too many calls and texts from the guy during the day. And then all of a sudden, when on a random Saturday night, you're getting a bunch of calls and texts from him. I will tell you right now, for those of you who are unfamiliar, I'll be the first one to tell you, if a guy is calling or texting you after the club, he does not want to get to know you. We'll just leave it like that. He is not interested in getting to know you if he's texting you after or during the club. I promise you. Don't let any amount of texts and calls and kind messages, oh, what are you up to? Where you at? To convince you that he's really interested in you if he's calling you during or after the club. If you know he went to the club with his boys, or maybe his boys and his girls, right? And he's texting you talking about where you at, what are you doing, what you on, what you up to. I promise you, he all he cares about is what's in between your legs. He's not really concerned with anything else you got going on except for what's in between your legs. I'm just going to tell you the truth. Because I don't know if you've ever had someone tell you this or say this saying to you, but nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. And that's pretty much the truth. Nothing good ever happens after 2 a.m. Especially especially outside of the house. Okay? Because a lot of people are, under the influence of whatever they're under the influence of. And when you're under the influence, and you're a young guy or an older guy, you got a lot of blood flow in your lower extremities. And you got very little blood flow up here. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you the truth because I've been there. I'm not telling you the truth because I'm a perfect person. I'm telling you the truth because I've been there, right? You got a lot of blood flow in your lower extremities and not a lot of blood flow going up here. So the guys are ready to stick their 2-incher inside anything that's moving, anything with 4 limbs. Okay? Even if you got 2 limbs, it'll be doable. But I want you to understand this. The reason I'm telling you this is because I want you to understand, don't allow them to get you emotional about the situation, right? Or to be so desperate for their attention or their validation that you allow them to it's essentially kind of love bombing their way back into your life or into your squirrel. Okay? Right? Don't allow, because the thing is, they're never going to call you at 2 a.m. and be like, yo, I just want to smash, yo, I'm just trying to do it. Unless you guys have that rapport, right? Unless you guys are doing a friends with benefits thing, right? Assuming you're not, assuming he's selling you a dream, which majority of them are, I'm sorry to tell you, but assuming he's selling you a dream and he's calling you at 2 a.m., he's not going to say, yo, I want access to that Squirtle. He's going to say, yo, I miss you type, yo, shawty, yo, the way I miss you, girl, yo, you've been on my mind crazy, like, yo, yo, I can't stop thinking about you, yo. Like you gotta slide through on me, yo. When you gonna pull up on me for real, shawty? Like, I mess with you heavy type shit, yo. You just a different type of girl, yo. Like, you the type of girl I need in my life, yo. When you gonna stop playing with me? They love that one. When you gonna stop playing with me, girl, yo? You play too much, yo. Like, you know I want you. Like, you know we supposed to be together type, yo. Me and you type, yo. We supposed to be against the world, yo. You play too much. That's how they'll present it to you. That's how to present. But you see, I see the way everyone's reacting in the chat. You see, that's how it makes you feel, though, because it gets you emotional, right? And this is a learned behavior that guys go through. This is a learned behavior because the guys realize, yo, if I don't even have to be that amazing or that smart or that intelligent or that good looking or that, I just got to be smooth. I just got to know how to talk my way into the Squirtle. That's the guys you really got to be scared of. You got to run. The guys that can talk their way into your pants are scary because it requires a level of emotional intelligence and understanding in order to do that. And if you're not ready for that avalanche, you're going to be weak. You're going to be weak. I'm telling you the truth. Because what guys are trying to do, they're trying to get you so emotional about the situation. They're trying to get you to focus on how you feel, focus on how much they care about you, focus on how much they want you, that you get caught up in all of the emotion and you stop thinking logically. Because the logical part of your brain would tell you, yeah, if he's calling me at 2 a.m. and he hasn't spoken to me any other time during the week, there is nothing in particular he wants to talk about. He don't have no heart-to-heart that he wants to discuss. He don't have no situation that he wants to discuss. There wasn't no damn revelation that he came to that he wants to discuss. He wants to discuss what's in between my legs. If you sat back and were real with yourself, you would easily be able to identify that. But a lot of times you get emotional about the situation. How many of us have gotten a call or text from a guy late night and actually met up with him, even though we know we shouldn't have? This is honesty hour. This isn't time for us to cap. This isn't time for nobody to lie. We all got to be real. How many of us in the chat, let me know if you've ever gotten a call or a text from a guy late at night and you still met up with him. Okay. Shara said, not me. Okay. I'm glad you never had to go through that. Elena says, unfortunately, yeah. Alicia says, sadly. Yeel says, me. Okay. Kalira says, never me. Okay. J-Lo says, I fell for that, but I wanted some, so I went. Okay. If it's a friend with benefits, that's fine. For a year, Ayana says, oh my goodness. I love that name too, Ayana. I love that. I left them right on scene. I'm glad you did, Nora. Madison said in the YouTube chat, he stood me up actually, then asked to come see me the same night, and you accepted. Oh, goodness. I love the honesty, though, but that is tough. That is tough. That is tough. Vicky said, so don't fall for it anymore, though. I'm glad you don't. Someone said, Pretty said, I'm not leaving my bed. You come. I mean, it kind of works the same way too, right? Because sometimes the guys also know, I mean, whatever's the most convenient, right? I've seen situations where the guys will also go over to the girl's house. So don't think that it's just, you come to the guy's house, right? Sometimes the guy, I've seen it where the guys also, from real experience, I've seen it where the guys also will leave the club and go to the girl's house directly from the club. Okay. Right. So it's kind of all the same. It's the same thing. Calling you up late at night, asking, yo, what are you doing right now? I'm trying to see you right now, this second. Okay. Nina says coming over is a small fee. Well, that's the whole idea. That's the trick, right? That's the trick, because they get you to believe, I'll come see you right now. Yo, I want to see you so bad. I'll come to you wherever you're at, whatever you're doing. I'll come over to you and see you right now. That's how much I want you. And then you'll start thinking to yourself, well, I mean, I guess I don't have to do anything. Well, I mean, I guess I could just chill. Well, I mean, I guess, I can just sit back and relax. So if he wants to come see me that bad, it must mean that he really desires me. So I guess, come over. Sure, come over. Right? Fazila says in the YouTube chat, tell me a man who asks for more with anybody and no shame. Sorry, there was something in the way of your word there. Right? And it sucks. It sucks because you want to convince yourself that he really wants you so badly and wants to see you so badly. And that's why he's trying to come to see you right now. But the reality of it is most of the time, that's not the case. Actually, majority of the time, it's never the case, especially late at night, because there's nothing that he could want to do with you that has to happen right now at 2 a.m. that he couldn't have done with you at 12 p.m. or 1 p.m. or 2 p.m. Okay? Don't let these guys convince you that he has to see you late at night right now because the feeling is so strong that he can't fathom or think about his life unless he sees you. He can't experience life. He can't do anything. He can't dream. He can't eat. He can't sleep. He can't breathe unless he sees you right now. All of that is just a simple tactic. And if a guy is doing that, we talked about inconsistency earlier, but if a guy is consistently doing that, that should tell you that he's not really into you for real. He's just using you to get access to your Squirtle. Okay? Does that make sense to you guys so far? Are you guys following me so far? Are you guys still confused? Okay. Right? Sheree says, yeah, okay. It makes so much sense what I'm saying. Okay, I want to make sure you guys are following me still, right? So next on number 3, we have no future talk. Okay? No future talk is number 3. Some of you guys might be like, what does that mean, no future talk? What does that consist of, no future talk? Do you guys know what I mean when I say no future talk? Do you guys understand what that means when I say no future talk? What does that mean? What does that mean for those of you guys? I know I got some smart cookies in here. What does that mean, no future talk? As it relates to signs that he's using you. Someone said he doesn't have plans for you both in the future. Okay. Talking about his future without you. Okay. Someone said future talk. Talking about having kids, for example. Okay. SH, I like that answer. Clear says you are just a fun girl. Okay. Someone said my ex would talk about the future like one day I'm gonna take you on a date. Like, okay. No talk of marriage, Jasmine says. SH says future plans. Margaret in the YouTube chat says, don't let them all sell you dreams. I would hope not. Trinity says he don't talk about the future with you. Batia says not talking about you and him, what's going to happen. Okay. Future planning so you get excited. Okay. You guys are so smart. That's why I love asking you guys questions. See how many people are paying attention. Madison in the YouTube chat says, yes, only speaking in terms of the present. Exactly. No future talk, right? If he's never talking about the future, that should tell you instantly that he's using you, simply because if a man is well-intentioned, I'm not saying that every single man has bad intentions, but if a man that meets you is well-intentioned, there will be men out there that are well-intentioned. His plans with you will consist of now, but also well into the future. So a lot of the discussions you guys have with each other, even when you're arguing with each other, a lot of the solutions that you come up with in your relationship will always be meant to be future proof, right? Or will always consider how you guys will respond and react and go about things or approach things in the future. You understand what I'm saying? Everything that your relationship consists of and is about will be focused on how you guys are going to carry that into the future. So if there is a particular thing that you're doing, right, or that he doesn't like, or that he doesn't appreciate, or even a particular way that you disrespect him, you better believe he's going to address it right away. And then he's also going to explain to you that part of the reason he's addressing it, or part of the reason it's important to him, is because he doesn't want this to go on into the future. Someone said, is this live? It is 100% live. I can see your comments. Right. And he doesn't want this to go on into the future. You'll hear him in his arguments talk to you about the future, because even the solutions and the arguments you guys have will also be focused on how to avoid those same arguments or fights in the future. You'll hear him talk about when he's happy, he'll talk about the future, right? And how to sustain that happiness, how to keep that happiness, how to keep those good feelings going, right? How to keep that fire going, right? In the process of family, with you, his family and your family, meeting your family, talking to your family, creating relationships and connections with your family, your friends as well. All of the things he talks about as they consist of and relate to your relationship will always be focused on the future. Because if he's planning to be with you for the quote unquote rest of his life, it's going to be important what's happening now, but it'll also be even more important that things are adjusted and learned and understood for the future, so that the good things continue to happen and the bad things don't happen as much, right? It's not that he'll never want to fight with you, but even when he does fight with you or disagree with you or argue with you, he'll want to make sure, let's come to an understanding so we don't continue to have this same argument, this same fight, this same issue, right? And vice versa. If you have an issue with him or a problem with him, if he disrespects you or does something to you, he's going to want to make sure he remedies that, or at least attempts to remedy it or come to some sort of compromise, so that you guys don't continue to have the same issues in the future. Because if a man is planning to spend the rest of his life with you, he definitely doesn't want you to have the same issues and complain about the same things over and over and over and over again for the rest of his life. Right? He's going to want to come to some sort of understanding, solution, or compromise with the issues that you have with him, so that you don't continue to have those issues, and vice versa. He's going to be very concerned or focused on any issues that he does have with you to make sure they get remedied, or you guys can come to some sort of compromise, so that your relationship can continue to be good on into the future. So if you notice that a guy is always talking about, I don't really want to think too much about the future. I just want to focus on right now. I'm not really thinking about who I'm going to date 5 years from now. I just want to focus on right now. Even if he's talking about himself as it only relates to the present, that's a sign that he's using you. Even if you ask him questions like, where do you want to be within yourself? Like in your career, in your job, in your life, where do you want to be in 5 years? And he tells you, I'm not thinking about that right now. I'm just focusing on the present right now. I'm just worried about right now in this second. There's nothing wrong with being present, but if you don't have a plan for the future, if you don't have a plan for your life, life is going to take you wherever it wants to take you. The only people that are ever successful or get what they want are the people that plan for the future. And I guarantee you, the only men that get what they want are the people that plan for the future. So one of two things is happening. Either you're with a man who has no direction, in which case I guarantee you'll be unhappy as a woman. Or you're with a man who's only thinking of the present simply because he doesn't have any plans for you or himself, or both, going into the future. Either way, you're doomed in that scenario, right? Because if he's only with you for the present and only focused on the present, right? And he's not thinking about the future, I guarantee you there will be no future, right? Because you can't get what you want if you don't know what you're shooting for. It's impossible. You have to know what you're working towards to work towards anything, even in a relationship. This is why I always tell you guys, good relationships take work. They take a lot of work, right? Being desirable to men takes work. It takes a lot of work. Being desirable as a man to woman takes work. It takes a lot of work. If you want to have a good, healthy relationship, it's going to take work. There is no version of a good relationship where you just sit back on your couch and eat potato chips and your man loves you and cherishes you and is loyal to you and rubs your feet every night. You're going to have to work to get him to desire you as much as possible. He's going to have to work to get you to desire him. You guys are both going to have to work together to keep the fire lit, to keep the romance there, right? To keep the relationship strong. That takes work. So if a guy is only focused on the present with you and never thinking about the future because he doesn't want to stress him out, he only wants to focus on right now, the future doesn't matter, well, he's not shooting for any sort of relationship with you. Because there's no way he can possibly ever build a good relationship with you if he doesn't even know what that good relationship is going to look like in the future, or at least what he wants it to look like. Your desires are the key to unlocking whatever it is that you want. You have to know what you're even desiring before you can even get it. You can't just say, yeah, I want a good relationship, but I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm just hoping that someone will show that to me. That's not how that works. You should know what you want in this good relationship in a way that works for you so that you can work towards that. The same way for the guys. The guys need to know what type of wife they want, what type of mother they want, what type of girlfriend they want, what type of relationship they want, and they should be working towards that. If they are not with you, then I guarantee you he's only there for the present pleasure. Right? He's only there for the present pleasure. Marissa said, are there actually guys out there that plan for the future have just always gone for losers? I promise you guys, there are guys out there that plan for the future. Now, I'll be the first one to tell you. The guys out there that plan for the future and have discipline and structure and goals are not always going to be able to spend all their nights with you. They're not always going to be able to stay up on the phone with you till 4 a.m. They're not going to be able to FaceTime you for 5 hours, right? Because the guys who have plans for the future with themselves and with you and with their life and their career and their jobs probably likely have focus and discipline because they're trying to get to that point. In the process of that, you're not always going to be the number one priority every second of every day. Okay? They're also going to have other responsibilities and other things that they care about just as much as they care about you. So I don't want that to offend you, but it comes with the territory. If you're going to be with the guy who has goals and aspirations, he's not going to spend 4 hours on the phone to you and fall asleep with you on FaceTime every single night. The guy who has nothing going on in his life, he's going to be able to do that. That's a pro tip. Pro tip for those of you guys, whoever are wondering, am I with the guy who has goals and aspirations? If he has enough time and energy to stay up until 4 or 5 a.m. with you on FaceTime every single night or every other night consistently all the time, I promise you that guy doesn't have any goals or direction. Because it would be impossible. There's no way a guy could have goals, directions, and ever have time for himself, and he's spending 4 a.m., up until 4 a.m. with you on FaceTime every single night. I'm just going to tell you the truth, right? A guy with discipline and structure and goals is also going to have other priorities other than you. So if you're not ready to be with the man who has other priorities other than you, then you should probably stick to the guys who have no goals or direction, because they can spend 12 hours with you on the couch back to back to back to back to back. They never have to go anywhere. You can have sleepover after sleepover after sleepover, and he'll never leave because he's got nothing to do. He's got nothing to work towards. Trust me. If you want a guy that'll be with you 24/7, you can have that. He just won't have too much future stuff going on. So 10 years from now, you'll still be with the guy who can spend 24 hours a day with you, but you'll be looking at him like, damn, we kind of live in this small ass place. Like, you kind of still, you kind of haven't done anything with your life. You don't make any money. You're not doing anything. You want to get up off the couch and, maybe stop hanging out with me every day and like do something with your life. No. I just love you so much. I only want to be with you. Oh. Right? Eventually your squirtle will become dried up. Okay. Number 4. Sorry, let me make sure I answered everyone in the chat. Are you guys following me so far? Does that make sense? I think someone said, where can I find guys that are focused on the future? This is where you kind of have to go out. Like, you have to go out to places where guys with goals and directions will be. This is why I always advise you guys, if you want to find someone who already knows their passion and is striving for something and has goals, you probably want to find someone who aligns with something you're already passionate about. So for example, if you're super into art, you probably want to go to a museum because you can find someone who is also passionate about art. And then you won't have to worry, does this guy have goals? Does this guy have direction? Because likely his passion will be the direction that he has his life turned towards, right? And at the same time, you guys will share that passion. So it'll be very easy to connect with each other on something, right? If you're going to the club 24/7, it'll be a lot harder to find a guy who has direction or goals outside of just going to the club. La Femme says, I like dancing though. If you like dancing, then go to dance classes. Go to a salsa class. Go to what else they got? A Latin class, right? There's classes where they teach you dance moves and stuff like that, and people join those classes. There's other ways, guys, women. I say guys just as a plural. There's other ways to meet people other than going to the club and the bars, right? If you go to the club and the bars, I'm not saying that everyone in the club and the bars is a bad person, but if you go to the club and the bars and you're expecting to find your perfect guy, you know what I mean? You're shooting yourself in the foot, because a lot of times your perfect guy is not going to be in the club or the bars. Like, let's be for real. You can go there, but just don't go there expecting to find the love of your life. It's just, you're being a little bit unrealistic, to be honest with you. And there's plenty of places. I had someone ask me this the other day. Oh, I don't even know where to go outside of the club. That's why I always go to the club. That's why me and my friends always hang out in the club. There is plenty of places to go and hang out outside of just going to the club or go to the bars. Guys, this is the 21st century. A lot of you guys are watching me on TikTok. Some of you guys are watching me on YouTube. You can go on TikTok now. You don't even have to use Google anymore. This is how easy your life is. You're living in a microwave society. You can go on TikTok and literally type in things to do in my city, whatever your city is. If you live in Toronto, Ontario, like me, type in things to do in Toronto. If you live in Dallas, Texas, things to do in Dallas. If you live in the UK, things to do in the UK, things to do in Manchester. You want to go on a date night or just something fun, a fun outing. Date night in Manchester, UK. Date night in Los Angeles, California. Date night in New York. I see on YouTube a lot of you guys are having redacted messages. I don't know what's happening there. I'm not sure what's happening there. Not sure why the message is retracted. That's strange. But very easy for you guys. Right? You guys are smart, intelligent people. If you want to know what things there are to do, you can easily go on TikTok. There's thousands of videos, especially if you live close to or around a major city. There's plenty of videos that will tell you good places to eat, good places to have fun. There's even people that make pages specifically for date nights that aren't going to the club or a bar or a restaurant, right? You just have to do the job of looking. See, the problem is a lot of you guys aren't looking, and you just assume the only way for me to meet people is to go to the club or the bar because you're lazy. Remember what we talked about yesterday? Laziness. Laziness will hurt your relationships. You're lazy. That's why you don't bother searching up or trying to figure out any other places you can meet people outside of just the club and the bar. And then you wonder why you keep coming across the same type of people who would treat you like the guys, the way I'm describing guys treat you if they're using you. You're going to a bar to meet a guy, and then you're wondering why the guy only wants a one night stand. You think that guy went to the bar? Think from the man's perspective. Do you think that man went to that club or that bar thinking, gee golly, I hope I find the love of my life and the woman I'm gonna make the mother of my children tonight? Gee golly, I hope I meet a swell old awesome young lady who treats herself with respect and is kind and I can cherish and take care of for an eternity. Gee golly, I can't wait to meet that girl tonight. Be for real. Be all the way for real. He got ready that night with his I don't even want to start cursing. He got ready that night with his pencil erect, hard as a rock. He had to tuck it in to his belt just so he could walk outside because he was so fired up to get a one night stand tonight. That's why he went to the club or the bar. He didn't go there thinking, I'm so excited to meet the love of my life. I'm so excited to meet the woman of my dreams. I'm so excited to meet the girl that's going to be the mother of my children. No. That is definitely not why he went to the club or the bar. Just going to be real with you. So by the time he meets you, don't brainwash yourself into thinking that, oh my God, he met me at this club and this bar and now he knows that I should be the mother of his children because I'm so amazing. Oh, this is so amazing. No. Actually, he just wants to smash. Let's be so for real. Now, obviously, don't take what I'm saying to an extreme that, if you meet a guy at a bar or a club, just automatically assume he's the worst guy ever, because there's obviously nice people and friendly people and kind people that do go to clubs or bars. But I just want you to just be more for real with yourself. The likeliness of you going out to a club or a bar and meeting someone who is actively super ready for a relationship, will treat you with major respect and you know what I mean? Just be the man that you need him to be is less likely. You're more likely to come across the type of guy you're looking for by going somewhere like a museum, or going somewhere like a painting class or a cooking class or an art class or whatever class, right? There's plenty of things to do. There's bouncy castles, there's rock climbing, there's laser tag, there's the virtual reality game places, there's arcades, there's movie theater. There's so many things for you to do in a city. Even if you live in a small city, a lot of times you might live in a small city or the suburbs and there's a larger city that's an hour away from you or 45 minutes from you. You can drive there and go out there. There's book clubs. There's all types of different things if you would only do the work of actually trying to go to those places. Okay? Definitely 100% possible. Sorry for going on a rant about that, but it just makes me mad because I promise you guys, there's lots of great places. You guys be like, where are the good men? There are no good men. There are no good men. Well, if you spend all your time at the club and the bars, of course you're going to think there are no good men, because all the men you meet at the clubs and the bars are trying to smash tonight. Even the good, honest men, they go out to the club with the intention of, I want to smash a girl tonight. So it's how do you expect to meet them in any capacity where they're ready to be with you when they've already left the house wanting to smash tonight. Okay. As Sharice says, what's your take on dating apps? I think dating apps is more in the same, in the sense that, yeah, you can meet some good guys on there, but I think a lot of guys have learned that it's an easy way. It's like an extension of the club. It's an easy way to sell a girl a dream, right? And get access to her Squirtle, and then sit back and be like, I don't even really know if I'm ready for a relationship. I have people message me all the time about a guy they met on Hinge or Bumble or whatever. And then they go out on a couple dates with the guy, or, they meet up with the guy. They, of course they do their thing. And the guy afterwards is telling them how they don't think they're ready for a relationship yet. So it's like, why are you on the dating app? Why are you on the dating app if you're not ready for a relationship? But the guys realize that the girls who are on the dating apps are super ready for a relationship and probably a tad desperate, which is why they're on the dating app. So they realize that the best way to extract what they want from the girl is to come in with the already preconceived notion that the girl has that, oh, you're looking for a relationship too. So they're like, oh yeah, of course I'm looking for a relationship. Of course, that's why I'm here. Of course, I'm trying to build something and all that good stuff. And then, you realize after you give yourself away to him that, you know what? I thought, before we smashed, I thought that I was ready to build something. Now, after we smashed, I've realized I actually am not ready to build anything with you. But thanks for giving away your Squirtle to me. That was really good for me. A really good 30 seconds for me. Right? And like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I'm not saying that you'll never be able to find anyone good on a dating app. But all I am saying is if dating apps work so well, you wouldn't even need to spend any real time on a dating app. You'd only have to be on a dating app for a week or two, and you'd find the love of your life. And everyone would be going on these dating apps for literally a couple of days, finding the love of their life and getting off of the dating app. If the dating apps worked as well as people imagine they should work, right? There would always be just... Nobody would really ever have dating apps for a long period of time because they would already be meeting the love of their life if they worked that well. Anyways, that was a little bit off topic. So number 3 was future talk. Number 4, we have not solution based. Not solution based. Do any of you guys know what I mean by not solution based? As it relates to telling if he's using you or not. When I say he's not solution based, right? Someone said I'm writing a feature on how reality shows impact viewers' perception. Need your opinion? Send me a message on Instagram. I can't answer it here. What do you guys think I mean when I say not solution based? Marissa in the YouTube chat says he doesn't want to solve problems. Okay. He's not trying to solve issues with you both run into. Brianna says. Brianna's so smart. She's a smart cookie. Kitten says he isn't helpful. Okay. Only his problems. Okay. You ask a question and is looking to solve it. No compromising on his part. Doesn't offer help to your issues. Not willing to compromise or make adjustments. Okay, interesting. I like these answers. Rather than honesty, want to work through it. Okay. I like these answers. You guys are doing well. You guys have some good answers. So when I say not solution based, what I'm actually referring to is when a guy is in his dealings with you, right? In any relationship, you're always going to have disagreements. In any relationship, you're going to go through ups and downs. That's the regular ebbs and flows of all relationships. Okay. In the process of you having disagreements, right? Naturally, if a guy is trying to build a future with you, right? All of your disagreements, whether it be something that you don't like or something that he doesn't like, will always be solution based. What do I mean by solution based? After you guys have your disagreement, everyone will bring their side to the table, their perspective, how they feel, what they want, right? What they liked, what they disliked, right? You guys will come together and come to an understanding after the disagreement, right? But then what will also happen, what also should happen after that, is there should be a process of figuring out what is the best solution moving forward. Right? Whether it be a compromise, whether it be that, okay, I didn't do something that I did something that you didn't like. And now that I understand why and how you didn't like it, I'm going to adjust my behavior in the future by doing this, or I'm going to adjust myself by responding or approaching it like this instead, in a way that works better for you and also I can do, right? Now that I better understand how you feel, I'm going to make sure either I don't do that, or make sure that I work on that, or make sure that I approach that differently, or vice versa, right? You're going to say, now that I understand how you feel and all that, he's going to say, well, yeah, so this is the best solution, or this is how we should deal with it. There will always be a concerted effort to figure out whatever the solution is, so that that issue or problem doesn't continue to be an issue or problem. Now, if you find yourself in a relationship or a situationship with a guy where there's never any concerted or concentrated effort to finding solutions to problems or issues, then you know that he has no interest in you for the future. And the reason he doesn't care to address, whether it be his issues or your issues or disagreements, is because he's only using you for the present pleasure. Right? Because when all he wants from you is to satisfy his present pleasure, he doesn't care whether or not you guys come to an agreement or an understanding on these particular issues. He doesn't care whether or not you feel happy or satisfied with the compromise that you guys make. He doesn't care whether or not he even addresses the things or issues that he has problems with, right? Because that can go vice versa too. If you're with the guy and you start realizing that he never presents to you any issues that he has, he never shares with you his opinion on anything, he never shares with you how he feels about anything, he never tells you, hey, I don't like that you said this, or I don't like the way you spoke to me, or I don't like the way you responded to me, I don't like the way you treated me. If he never addresses anything, right? If he's never confrontational, or lets you, I don't even want to say confrontational, if he never lets you know, hey, I have issues with this, I don't agree with this, I don't like this, that should tell you he's not addressing it because he doesn't even care enough to address it, because he doesn't want a future with you. And if he doesn't want a future with you, then he's using you for the present pleasure. Because if I don't want a future with someone, why would I bother to address any of the issues I have with them? If I'm not trying to build a future with you, it's pointless for me to address any issues that I have with you. I'm going to throw you away in a couple of weeks, or I'm going to throw you to the side once I go back to my ex. Right? Think about it for yourself as well. Let me know in the chat for yourself as well. If you were, for whatever reason, let's say you were going out on dates with a guy who was like trying to wine and dine you. He was trying to take you to all the fanciest restaurants, all the most beautiful, amazing places, but you really just weren't that interested in him. On top of that, you were probably still involved with your ex. Right? Imagine you were still involved heavily with your ex. You still had a lot of love for your ex, still wanting to see your ex, still thinking about your ex. And this guy is spending $200 on a date with you. And imagine on the date, he says something that you don't like, or he does something that throws you off. Are you really going to bother addressing it when you know you're most likely going to end up back with your ex? Or you're going to go back and see your ex or spend time with your ex because you know you and your ex are likely getting back together? Are you really going to bother addressing it or letting him know that you have a problem with something that he said or he did? Right? Are you really going to bother addressing him in general or confronting him about any issues that you have? Right? Brenda says no. Batia says no. Right? Most likely not, because what's the point? If you know that your feelings and where you want to be is somewhere else and not here, and you know this isn't your end destination, why would you bother putting forth effort to trying to correct a situation with someone or an issue with someone when you know this relationship or this situationship is only going to last but so long? It's human nature. If I don't see myself building something with you, why would I go through the effort that it takes to like figure out these different situations, right? Why would I go through the effort that it takes to come up with solutions? Because that's painful, right? Having tough conversations and coming up with solutions to problems, right? And sitting down and listening to someone say, I don't like when you did this. I don't like how you did this. I don't like when you said that. I don't like how you treated me. I don't like how you responded to me. I don't like. Sitting down and hearing someone say that to you is tough. It's not an easy thing to do. Okay? It's painful to sit down and have to just accept, yeah, you know, I thought I was perfect, but you're telling me that I'm not perfect and you're telling me about all the things I'm doing wrong. But because I love you and I care about you and I care about this relationship, I'm going to have to sit here and take it and accept it and fix my behavior because I did something. It's literally painful. It is painful. It's an ego hit to accept that you did something wrong, right? To accept that you're not perfect, to accept that you treated someone in a way that wasn't good, right? And have to sit there and work on the problem or admit that you need to work on something or change something or adjust something. Nobody's going to want to go through that if they're not actually preparing for the future or trying to build something with that person. Okay? So if a guy's never talking to you about solutions or trying to figure out solutions to your problems or your issues, I guarantee you he is only using you for his present pleasure. Okay? Madison said, but some guys give solutions and still ghost. There was a guy once that still argued with me, then went to New York with his now girlfriend the next day. Well, I won't say that. See, here's the thing. It kind of, these things kind of work in the opposite direction. So what do I mean by that? When I talk about the signs, the 7 signs that he's using you, right? All of these things, if they're happening, will clue you into, excuse me. If these things are happening, right? There is 100% possibility that he's using you because these things can't exist unless he's using you. But obviously, like he says, like Madison says, not every time that they exist necessarily means that, he's definitely 100%, like, for example, he's not solution based. This guy was solution based, so that should mean that he's not using me, right? It can still work in the opposite direction, right? There can be guys that don't exhibit this behavior that are still using you, right? But 100%, if he's showing you this behavior, it can only be because he's using you. If that makes any sense, right? It's not like he can exhibit this behavior to you, but he's really taking you seriously and wanting to be with you. So my point being is that anytime you see this type of behavior, that should clue you in to the fact that there's something going on. Nicole said, what are the 7? You got to be here as soon as we get started because I'm already on number 5 now. I went through 4. So you got to go on YouTube to rewatch the live and see what the other 3 were. So number 5. Number 4 was not solution based. We got number 5 is calculated attention. This is a tricky one. Do you guys know what I mean? What do you guys think I mean? I want to make sure you guys still paying attention. Do you know what I mean when I say calculated attention? What do you guys think I mean when I say calculated attention? What do you guys think that means? The dreaded hot and cold, Medina says. Consistency, Okay. Being intentional with his attention. Being intentional with his attention. Okay, I like that. Just ask simple questions. Just ask us simple questions, okay? If you don't answer for 1 hour, he won't for 3. Okay, interesting. Being only very attentive sometimes, all right? Consistently inconsistent and breadcrumbing attention. Okay. I like these answers. Marissa in the YouTube chat says either hitting you up only at night or planning when they hit you up, like stringing you along. You guys are so smart. Someone said apple cider vinegar. What does that mean? I just had a shot of that this morning. What do you mean by that? Calculated attention is, in a sense, love bombing, but even on a deeper level, right? Because like I've been telling you guys, there is a learned behavior that men develop where they understand that the best way to get access to you is to feed your ego. Okay? Now, feeding a woman's ego is going to be very different from feeding a man's ego, right? Because feeding a woman's ego is going to consist of selling her the dream that she wants to exist, making her feel like that dream is existing and happening, so that I can use that to my advantage and extract what I want from her. Right? So when I talk about feeding your ego as a woman, right, the men realize that if I make her feel like she's the only one in the world for me, and I only want her, and I desire her so much, and she's such an amazing person, I make her feel so beautiful, so loved, so cherished. I make her feel like Cinderella, like I'm her Prince Charming here to sweep her off her feet, and she's Cinderella with a glass slipper, and there's no one else that I could possibly think of on this planet Earth but her, right? I'm essentially getting her so emotional, right, and validating her so much to the point where she believes, oh no, this is my moment. This is my Cinderella story. This is my Wattpad story. This is my smut book. This is my Disney princess movie, right? And that emotion, that overwhelming amount of emotion, pushes you to make decisions without actually sitting back and thinking of the decision that you're making, right? For example, giving your squirrel away to a guy that you really don't know that well, but just assuming that you guys have a good connection because of how you feel right now in this present moment, right? How you feel in this present moment, right? Being overwhelmed with all these emotions and not being able to sit back and think logically will convince you that, yeah, you know what? In this present moment, the right decision is to give my squirrel away to a guy who I don't really know. And trust you me, most of the time that you're giving your squirrel away to these guys, even the guys that you're dating, you don't really know. And we did the math. We did an amazing calculation. I think it was 2 live streams ago, where we basically, I won't go through the whole calculation for you guys, but trust me, the math is mathing. It's so real. For those of you guys in the chat, you better tell people that math is real, because we did a calculation that if you go on 3 dates a week with a guy for 3 months straight, right? You go on 3 dates a week with a guy for 3 months straight, and those dates each last 3 hours each for 3 months straight, that calculates out to spending a total of 4.5 days with that person, right? I'm going to say it again because it seems kind of shocking and it seems like it doesn't make sense. You can do the math on your own time, or go back to 2 live streams ago when we talked about it. We did the math together. 3 dates a week with someone each date lasting 3 hours for 3 months straight only adds up to a total of 4.5 days spent together. So I want you guys to, and the reason I did that calculation together with everyone in the classroom is because I want you to understand what's really happening and really going on when these guys are telling you that they fell in love with you after 1 week. When these guys are telling you how they fell in love with you after a couple of days. When these guys are telling you how they knew when they laid their eyes on you that they wanted you to be the mother of their children. Or it was love at first sight. No, it was love at her booty. It was love at her amazing booty cheeks. That was what the love was. Okay, let's be so for real. Because there's no way that you ever knew anything real about the person in order to determine if that would be someone you would want to make your wife or the mother of your children. It's just not possible. And even when you're dating someone 3 times a week, 3 hours each date for 3 months straight, you've only really spent 4.5 days with that person. And we all acknowledge when we did the math that nobody can tell who they want to spend the rest of their life with in 4.5 days. Right? And the reason I say that is because when I talk to you guys about calculated attention, it's so important that you understand that these guys have learned the technique of giving you attention and validation, knowing that attention and validation, especially if you're desperate for it, especially if you're lacking in it, will be so overwhelming to you that you'll make decisions based on emotion rather than making the decision that will best serve you in the future. They know that, which is why they do that. They extract what they want from you while you're so emotional that you're not thinking straight, and then they go about their lives. And then you're left there like, how did I get tricked so badly? How did I misread the situation or misread these guys? It's very simple. It's very simple. All they had to do was give you the right amount of attention at the right time, right? In the right way, knowing that you're desperate, knowing that you have that void within you, and they were able to extract what they want, right? It's like sales. It's like a sales tactic, right? The best way to sell to someone, right? The best way to sell someone something is to get them emotional about the product or to tie it somehow to their emotions so that they're no longer thinking, do I really need this? Is this really worth the amount of money to spend? Nah, that's not really a financially literate purchase. No. The salesman doesn't want you to think like that. The salesman wants you to think, if you don't get this, your pencil's going to dry up. If you don't do this right now or get this pill right now, your life's going to be ruined. If you don't do this thing right now in this second and call this toll-free number and get this discount for 50% off, you're never going to be able to get this again. Right? Scarcity. Oh my God, it's leaving you right now. Oh my God, FOMO right now. You get so emotional about the situation that you stop thinking logically. Someone said, do you do coaching? This is the coaching. I coach everyone at once. Okay? Calculated attention is very dangerous. And you know that if he's giving you a lot of calculated attention, that he's he's definitely using you. And you'll feel when it's calculated attention. This is why I tell you guys that it's so important to have your own self-validation, right? Have your own internal confidence, right? Believe in yourself, want yourself, think of yourself as beautiful. Feel like you're that girl. Be that girl. Inside. For yourself. Care for yourself. Build yourself up. Love yourself. So that when you go out into the world, you're not looking or seeking from someone else. You're not desperate to receive that from someone else. Okay? Because if you're so desperate to receive that from someone else, other people can use that to manipulate you. Okay, I think we're having some sort of issue with YouTube, but we'll go on anyways. Okay? So I want to make sure you guys are able to have access to that. Or understand that I said have access to that. So that was number 5. Number 5 was calculated attention. Marissa says, I grew up Mormon and they push marriage after like 3 months of dating, and I'm trying to unleash that. You should. There's nothing wrong with getting to know someone. I wouldn't advise that you give your squirtle away in the process of getting to know them, but there's nothing wrong with taking your time and being patient and getting to know someone. The world has you convinced that the only way a guy knows what he wants is if he wants to marry you in the first week of meeting you. Realistically, that's not speaking towards the guys that know what they want. That's speaking towards the guys that actually don't know how to analyze and make good decisions. Because no matter how you want to slice it or dice it, making a good decision about who you want to spend the rest of your life with consists of actually taking the time to evaluate if this stranger is someone I want to and can and should be spending the rest of my life with, because that is a stranger. Okay? If I'm going to have children with this person, if I'm going to commit my life to this person, I want to be sure about this person. So the idea that only the guys that know what they want, those are the guys that will want to marry you within the first week. No, actually, those are the guys who don't know how to make good decisions and analyze situations. And if you end up with the guy who doesn't know how to make good decisions, what's going to end up happening is by the time he becomes the father of your children and everyone's looking to him, daddy, what should we do? How should we act? What should we respond? Where should we go? What's your advice? He'll be like, I don't know. I don't know how to lead. I can't even sit down and make good decisions for myself. I make decisions off a whim. I don't think about it. I don't analyze it. I can't sit down and be a voice of reason. We just do it whenever, however. And you'll be sitting there like, oh my God, I married a doofus. He doesn't know how to lead. I am literally married to a doofus. What am I going to do? Because I can't take control of the situation. He's supposed to be my man, but he's not our man, and you're stuck. Okay? You should aim to be with the guy who is smart enough to analyze situations and make good decisions. Right? In Marissa's case, she says she's Mormon. You should, even as a Mormon, you should meet a Mormon man who is smart and intelligent enough to identify that, hey, me getting married to you after 3 months is, while that might be the culture, I'm intelligent enough to understand that will actually work to my detriment if I don't make the right decision. So whether or not there's pressure on me, I'm going to make the right decision for myself, because in the end, who I marry, I'm going to have to deal with for the rest of my life, not my parents. A real man can stand up for himself, have some sort of backbone, and say, I don't care how much pressure there is on me. I'm going to make the right decision. I'm not going to make the quickest decision. I'm going to make the right decision, because at the end of the day, the only person that has to deal with the decision I make is me. So the only person that's going to be unhappy with the decision I make if I don't make the right one is going to be me. And the only person I'll have to blame if I make the wrong decision is me. When you're with a man who's accountable, when you're with a man who has discipline, when you're with a man who has reason, he will take his time to make good decisions. Now, he's not going to be perfect. He won't make the best decision every time, but as much as possible, he will take his time to make good decisions rather than making quick decisions. And that definitely includes the women that he's going to marry. So if any guy comes along in your life and tries to convince you that the best decision to make with him or in the relationship is the quick decision, move things fast at breakneck speed, you don't even want to be with that guy. Because that guy doesn't know how to make good decisions. Why would you even want to be in a relationship with a guy who doesn't know how to make good decisions? Makes no sense. You're wasting your time. Makes no sense. Okay. Number 5 was calculated attention. Number 6 is forgetful. Okay. If he's using you, I promise you he's going to be pretty forgetful about a lot of things. Now, you're probably saying, what do you mean forgetful? So if he forgets our 3-month anniversary, that means he's using me? No, let's be for real. When I say forgetful, right, what I mean by that is you'll start to notice, and this is where I say you really have to be tapped into your spirit and your intuition, because you'll be able to feel it. He's forgetful about things that you share with him, even that are deep or close to you. Right? Like, have you ever, let me know in the chat, have you ever had a heart-to-heart with someone and told them something, whether you consider it a secret or something that's really close to your heart, and like a couple of days after that, they've forgotten everything that you told them? They start asking you questions and you're like, we literally had this conversation and I told you about this traumatic event or story that had happened to me and you forgot about it. You don't remember? We literally had a heart-to-heart. And I told you about this thing and how super deep it was and important to me it was. And what I went through in that situation. And they're like, oh, my bad. I forgot. You're right. Right? Mattia says yes. Kalir says exactly. You're not the priority, right? It's true. It's true. Because here's the thing. When a guy is forgetful about things that are important to you, and when I say important to you, I mean close to your heart, like experiences that you've had, things that you've went through, right? And he forgets those things when you tell him those things or you share those things about you, I can be the first one to tell you it's because he doesn't care. And if he's still spending time with you, and he doesn't care about you, he's just using you for his pleasure. Still honest truth. It's still honest truth. He's just using you for his pleasure. Because truthfully, any man, any person, any human being who truly cares about you and you tell them something that's super traumatic or deep or close to your heart, they're going to remember that. It'll be impossible for a man to love you truly and you tell him something so deep, something so intimate, something so important and close to your soul that you wouldn't share with anyone else. It would be impossible for him to love you and forget that, like a fart in the wind. Because when you're important to him, right? Your life becomes important to him. The things you care about, the experiences you've been through become important to him. It's impossible to forget when you truly care for someone, the things that they share with you that are deep for real. For real. They just become etched in your brain because there's this amazing thing about like the human soul where the people that we love the most, we can empathize with the most. And so when they feel pain, you can feel that pain also. When you really love someone and they're in pain, you can literally feel that pain in your soul. It's a connection that we can't see or touch or feel. Well, we feel it with our soul and our spirit, right? So when you're sharing with someone pain that you've been through, and they're just like, oh yeah, whatever. They forget about it or it doesn't seem to matter to them. It's because they're not truly deeply connected with you, or else it would be impossible for them to not feel that same pain. So when you find yourself in a situation that you're sharing with him with those things that are so painful to you, and then the next day he's like, "Oh, sorry, what did you say about that thing again?" Yeah, no, sorry, I forgot. I just, whether he's aware of it or not, that's subconsciously telling you, that should tell you that subconsciously he's really not that interested in you. He's definitely sure not in love with you. I'll tell you that for free. Okay? Because anytime you love someone and they tell you things that are painful to them, you're going to be in pain too. Experiences that are painful, you're going to be in pain too. You're going to remember those things. That forgetfulness is only going to, should be telling you that they're not that interested in you. And so anything important that you do tell them, it's like a fart in the wind. It's like a fart in the wind. It's like a fart in the wind. Someone said, I'm scared to know what he wants. If you're scared to know what he wants, then you know what he wants. Sorry to tell you. Sorry to burst your bubble. If you're scared to know what he wants, then you know what he wants, because he doesn't want you. I'm telling you guys. As this is why I teach you guys so much about spirituality, because I'm actually trying to arm you with things that will help you in the future. The more spiritual you become, because you're a woman, the emotions are tied to your spirituality, tied to your intuition, tied to your womb, all of that good stuff. The more spiritual you become, I didn't say religious, the more spiritual you become, the stronger your intuition becomes, the stronger your emotional intelligence becomes, the less you will have to question situations or intentions. Right? All this stuff about, I don't know, does he want to take care of me? Is he really serious about me? Does he really care about me? You're asking that question, or you're saying, I don't want to know how he feels about me. I don't want to know if he doesn't I don't want to know what he wants. Well, it's because you do know what he wants. You know that he doesn't want you. You're just scared to realize that. Remember how I talked about yesterday? I told you guys, you got to watch every stream. You got to be with me every day. We talked about yesterday the laziness and the laziness and not wanting to have clarity, because you don't want to have clarity because you don't want to answer the question for yourself. Oh, am I wasting my own time or no? Does this guy really want to be in a relationship with me or no? You don't want to answer that question for yourself. You want to keep stringing yourself along. So you want to be like, I'm not sure what he wants. I won't ask him. I'm not sure if he's feeling me. We just won't address it. We'll just keep it hidden. Hopefully I never have to actually find out. Pulong said, you're afraid of the painful truth. Exactly. If you're sitting around questioning, I wonder if he likes me. I wonder if he's into me. I wonder if he cares about me. I'm going to tell you the truth. He doesn't. If you're sitting around questioning that, he probably doesn't that much. Like if you're I'm not talking about, if you meet a guy on the street one day and you're like, I can't tell if he's in love with me or not. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you're in an ongoing situationship or relationship with the guy and you're like, I'm scared to know how he truly feels about me. Be for real. Be for real. Be for real. Be so for real. Okay? Not to be mean, just be so for real. Be so for real. Now, number 6 was forgetful. Number 7, and the last one, and the most important one to me, lack of detail. This is one I've talked about before. Lack of detail. This is one I've talked about before. And I've talked about it plenty of times. We'll discuss it again because I know some of you guys are new here. Lack of detail. What I mean by that, when I say lack of detail, is it kind of goes in line with being forgetful. When you ask a guy what he loves about you, right? Or likes about you, whatever. We'll say loves because let's talk about serious relationships. When you ask a guy what he loves about you, and he can't actually describe in detail what he actually loves about you specifically, oh my goodness. That is the strongest sign that he is using you. The strongest sign. The strongest sign. At least all of them are strong, but that is super strong. Because as a man who has been in love, I feel very confident in speaking for other men when I say, if a man is really in love with you, I promise you, he knows what he loves about you and why he loves you specifically. Oh God, yes. You have to understand that there is something really special that happens to a man when he's really truly in love with a woman, right? When he really truly is in love with a woman, right? You notice so much detail about someone that you love. Truly. It becomes like they become a part of you in the strangest way, right? Like I talked about, you feel what they feel. You understand them. You start finishing their sentences. You almost like become them. I don't know if you guys have ever heard the saying or the concept that like people that have been together for such a long time start to look like each other, right? People that have been married for such a long time, they start to look like each other because it's like that person becomes a part of you to the point where you guys morph and change and into like the same person. You guys both have these unique traits that you sort of like share, and as time goes on, you like mold into like the same person. It's so strange, but it's such a beautiful thing about love and relationships. But I say that to say, if a guy really loves you, I promise you he knows what he loves about you, which is why I always tell you guys, for those of you guys who are the super A+ students in my live stream chat, you should know what this is that I'm about to say. What do I always tell you guys is one of the best questions to ask a guy to get an understanding of what he likes about you. How do I say you should ask the question? Does anyone remember how I tell you guys to ask the question when you want to know how a guy truly feels about you, or what his interest level is in you? Does anyone remember the question or the way I say to ask it? Okay. Lennon League says, what do you like about me specifically? Okay, you're on it. Specific to me. What he likes about you, specific to you. And Andy's here in the chat. Andy's one of my guy friends in real life, guys. Say what's up to Andy. Okay. Everyone else is a girl here in the chat. Andy's a stand-up black man. Right? We talk about what do you like about me specifically. Okay. I'll tell you guys the question, and SH or Charisse or Brianna, I want you guys to write it down in the chat so that everyone can see it, because I know everyone's going to be like, hey, can you say the answer to the question again? Can you say it again? I'm going to say it so that everyone can see it and use it for yourself in the future or wherever. Okay. This is the question. Screen record if you want to screen record, whatever you want to do to remember this question or this message, the way that you should ask it. Okay. So this is what you ask if you want to gauge a guy's interest in you. You ask him, what character or personality traits unique to me do you like about me specifically? I'm going to say it again. What character or personality traits unique to me do you like about me specifically? One more time, because I know you guys might type slow. What character or personality traits unique to me do you like about me specifically? The reason I say to ask that question in that way is because any guy who is truly interested in you and not just using you will definitely be able to answer that question. Okay? Because the only way to answer that question properly is to answer it in detail with specifics. And that's what you want. Now, I know some of you guys are new here, so I'm going to give you the 3 types of answers you do not accept if you ask him this question. And when I say do not accept, I mean that is not an answer to the question. Okay? So if he's struggling to answer the question aside from in these, like if he answers the question in these 3 ways, you know something's wrong, something's off. And if he can't answer the question aside from in these 3 ways, you know something's off. And I'm so serious about this. This I'm 100% like super serious about. These 3 types of answers you do not accept. You do not accept an answer that has to do with your physical traits. You do not accept an answer that relates back to himself. Okay, relates back to himself. And you do not accept an answer that is vague. Okay, I'm gonna say the 3. I'm gonna discuss to you guys in detail the 3, but I'm gonna say them again. The 3 types of answers you do not accept. You do not accept an answer that has to do with your physical traits. You do not accept an answer that is vague, and you do not accept an answer that relates back to you. That relates back to himself. Okay? Now, let's go through all of these because I know that it's a little bit confusing. Okay? Number 1, you do not accept an answer that has to do with your physical traits. If you ask him this question, what character or personality traits unique to me do you like about me specifically? And he says, I like that you have such a big booty. I like that you have voluptuous breasts. I like that you have a supermodel smile. I like that you are just have such a small waist. Okay? If he answers you like that, you do not accept that. Simply because no matter how young and hot you are right now, you will eventually be young and old. Hot and old. Nothing wrong with that. We all age. Okay? The problem is beauty is tied to youth. So as you become older, you become less desirable, right? Here's the problem though. You're going to get older. So what happens if all of his reasoning for being with you or loving you is based on your physical traits when you're youthful? Because eventually you'll be older and you won't have your youth or your physical traits to rely upon. So then what happens if all of his focus has been on your physical traits? His head turns to the newer, younger, hotter girl. And you've lost your man just that fast. Okay? That's why you don't want it to be based on your physical traits. The next thing is it being vague. You don't want to accept an answer that is vague. By vague, I mean something like, you're so nice. You're so kind. You are so good. You're just a good person. You're just great. Things like that can apply to literally anyone. Literally anyone. His mother, his brother, his dog. Statements that just mean nothing because they're extremely vague. I think that one's straightforward. You know when someone's being vague because you'll be like, okay, and more, right? Number 3, this is the one that's the hardest to understand and grasp because usually I would probably say that when a guy's either trying to trick you or trying to be slick, this is usually the go-to one that guys use without even realizing it. When they're trying to seem meaningful, but they don't actually mean it. They'll use an answer that relates back to themselves. Okay? I know that's a little bit confusing for some of you guys. I'll explain. He'll use an answer that relates back to himself because it's not really about who you are. It's more about how you treat and serve him. The problem with that, though, is if the reason he's with you is about how you treat him, realistically, he can get anyone to treat him that way. It's not really about you specifically. It's more about you treating him this specific way. So heaven forbid another girl comes along that's prettier than you, that treats him that same way, he'll be gone. You understand what I mean? So the reason I say you don't want it to relate back to, that's the reason I say you don't want it to relate back to him. Because that's not really about who you are, the person you are. It's not about him taking notice about the details of your character and your personality and falling in love with the person that you are. It's really just a reflection of him and him looking and thinking about himself, right? It has nothing to do with you, right? And a guy can't be in love with you if the only reason he loves you is because of how you love him. That's basically him saying, I love you because of how you love me. That's not how that works. He doesn't really love you then, right? And if he doesn't really love you, then he's using you, because why else would he be spending all his time and his energy with you? Kalira said it's basically self-love, right? And a lot of guys will go to that when they're trying to make it seem like they're really into you, but they don't know what to say or how to describe it. So they'll use that one because they don't want to be, they know, they're probably smart enough to know that being vague would probably turn you off or raise up red flags. And they're probably also smart enough to know that saying, oh, you got a big booty, that's the reason I love you, would sound really strange and be a super red flag. So they usually use that one when they're trying to be slick. But I'm telling you this now so you know that they're trying to be slick and you don't fall for it, right? You don't want him to give you an answer that relates back to himself. Because like I said, lack of detail will tell you that he's using you. And if he can't tell you in detail why he loves you, I'm talking about you specifically and your personality and your character, I promise you he's just using you. Promise you that. Marissa says, wow, so today I learned a man has never actually liked me. Well, yeah. I mean, why do you think you're here? I mean, if your relationships worked out how they were supposed to work out, you'd still be in those relationships. No diss. We're all here to learn, me included, right? We all are growing. We're all a work in progress, including me. Okay. And I don't want you guys to take this information and be like, oh my God, all men are trash. All men are only going to treat me badly. All men are only going to or disrespect me and never treat me right and never this and that. No. That's not what I'm saying. There are plenty of good guys out there, green flag men, respectful men who will cherish you and love you and care for you and all that good stuff. Right? But there are a lot of men who will try and take advantage of you if you're too dumb to realize it, which is why I'm trying to give you knowledge so that you can realize it and not put your time and attention on those men. I'm also trying to give you advice to make yourself the most desirable you possibly can be so that you can have your choice of whichever man you want. Because the more, this is why I always talk to you guys about creating desire. And I think maybe tomorrow we'll talk about a subject that's even more about creating desire in men, because the more you can create desire in these men that you meet, the better quality of men you'll have your choice of. If you don't put any work into yourself and making yourself as desirable as possible, and I'm not just talking about getting a dump truck, I'm talking about the internal as well. If you don't make yourself the most desirable as possible, you're going to have a very low quality pool of men to choose from. And even the men you do choose from, you're going to be desperate to keep those men. When you make yourself as desirable as possible, you'll have a very high quality pool of men to choose from. And you'll also be less willing to put up with a lot of BS, which is good, because that will make you respect yourself, which will also make other people respect you. Okay. Rose Petal says, can you read my question, please? I just asked that guy the other day. He said, I am still trying to get to know you. And I was pissed. We went on 5 dates, no lie. Rose Petal, I'm glad you asked that question, because I want to caution you guys, right? Even the question that I just told you guys to ask, this isn't a quick pill. This isn't an orange peel theory question. Okay. Don't just go out and ask your date that you just met 3 days ago, hey, what character traits or personality traits do you love about me? Slow your roll down. Slow your roll down, Cinderella. Okay? This isn't a smut book where the Prince Charming falls in love with you after a couple of days. Okay? You guys need to be, if you're using that question, that should be in, if a guy has told you he loves you, I'll just make it easy for you guys. If a guy has told you he loves you, then you should ask that question. Okay? If you guys are on an I love you basis, then it's appropriate to ask that question. If you're still in the process of getting to know each other, it's not appropriate to ask that type of question, because how can someone really know what they love about you if you guys haven't even built enough of a relationship to really understand each other on that level? That takes time, right? Like we mentioned, Rose Petal said 5 dates. Like we mentioned, going on 3 dates per week for 3 months only averages out to 4.5 days of actually spending with each other. So in Rose Petal scenario, you went on 5 dates, let's say for 3 hours each. You've only spent about 15 hours with that person. Okay? You've only spent about 15 hours with that person. So it's not really logical for either of you guys to really know what you love about each other. You've only spent 15 hours with each other. Okay? Rose Petal said he said he wants to be in a relationship with me. Then you should be asking him, well, what about me makes you want to be? Ask the question in a different way. What about me makes you want to be in a relationship with me? And if he can't answer that question to you in kind of in a detailed way, then you're with a guy who doesn't know what he wants truly. He's just saying that. He's just telling you words. Because if he's telling you he wants to be in a relationship with you, he should also be able to tell you why. That's not a crazy thing to ask. It's not a crazy thing to ask. Because a guy who knows, all that stuff that people be talking about, oh, he's gonna propose in the first week because he knows what he wants. A guy who really knows what he wants, when he actually is in a relationship with you or when he actually makes you his wife, he will be able to tell you and anyone he meets exactly why he chose you to be his wife and not someone else. And the answer won't be, oh, because when I met her it was love at first sight. That won't be his answer. I promise you that. Don't let no one TV show, no person, no mother, no father, no best friend convince you that, oh, I met her and when I laid eyes on her, it was love at first sight. Don't allow that ever to be the answer that you stick with. Because if he was in love at first sight, well, he'll easily fall out of love at one glance. Okay? Same way you get him, same way you lose him. If all he had to do was look at you to fall in love with you, all he has to do is look at you to fall out of love with you. Very simple. Right? Any questions that you guys have? So someone said, please, how do we beat him at his own game? You should be listening to me every day. If you guys really want to know how to beat a guy at his own game, you should be watching every single one of my videos on TikTok and YouTube. And you should be joining me on live every single day, because I can't give you one quick answer that will solve all your problems right now. This is a discussion that we have to have over time, and you got to take action and work on things and change things to see the results. Guys, I'm gonna be the first one to tell you, I am not here to give you one quick fix to solve all your problems. If you want your life to truly be changed and transformed, you got to stick with me. You got to stick with me, listen to me, right? Not that I have all the answers, but I mean, I'm going to give you a guy's perspective, right? Absorb that, use that knowledge, go out in your own life and take action, right? And verify that the things I'm saying work and are true. Okay? But this process happens over time. It's not just, oh yeah, so buy my magic pill and you'll have all the guys worshiping you. No, I will never sell you that. Some other people can sell you that. Okay? I don't have any problem with the people that will sell you that. Take my course and your life will be solved. Listen to one of my videos and my 30-second video and your life will be solved. Do this one time thing. Take this magic potion and all your relationship problems will be solved. Sorry, I'm not gonna sell you on that. Okay. I'm just not going to. That's not how life works. You want something to be changed? Stick with me every day. Listen to me every day. We'll have conversation every day. I'll learn from you. You'll learn from me. You can go out. You'll try things. You work on things. You change things. You adjust things. Okay, you guys are all saying, okay, daddy, in the chat. You guys are funny, right? You'll go out. You work on things. You adjust things. You come back. You listen some more. You try some more things. You take some more action. And you'll see your life change and transform over a period of time. And then one day you'll look back on your life as it once was and you'll be like, damn, I've come so far. You only have to take one step at a time to get across the world. Right? You only got to take one step at a time. And with enough time, you can go anywhere. Right? You don't got to be able to run the fastest. You don't got to be able to jump the highest. You only got to be able to take one step at a time and you can go anywhere. Truly. Truly. Okay, guys? Do you guys have any more questions for me? Everyone's like, okay, daddy. You guys are funny. Right? But in all seriousness, I really mean that. Like there is no one quick fix, but I promise you, if you stick with it every day and you actually try to implement these things into your life and take action towards it, I promise you, you will see a change. And you won't see a change because I did it. You'll see a change because you did it. You are the creator of your own reality. Okay? You'll see a change because you did it, not because I did it, not because I answered your question, not because I gave you the perfect piece of advice that now you did the one thing and now all your problems are solved. No, you'll see a change because you actually went out and made a change, right? And changed your own life. Okay? Truly. Batia says, can you talk next time about body language on dates? Okay, I'll put that down on the list of things to talk about. Maybe not tomorrow, but to talk about. Okay. Issa says, can we be friends in real life? One day, guys, I'm gonna do a meet and greet for you guys for sure. Maybe this summer. We'll see how things go. Because I know you guys want to meet me in person. I don't know why, but I'm sure you guys want to meet me in person. So we can definitely have some sort of in-person thing going on. But if we do, it'll probably be in Toronto where I live. So I don't know, for those of you guys who are living in the US or those of you guys who are living in the UK, how you would make it, but we could definitely do something, but it would be in Toronto. Okay. For sure though. We'll do something in person though. It'll be big. All right, guys. So that's the show for today. For those of you guys who missed part of the show, whether you came late or you missed some of the points that I made and you want to go back or you want to revisit the points because you're like, oh, maybe I forgot, maybe I didn't get to write it down, you can go on my YouTube page and you can find the live video exactly as we just did it, because I'm live on YouTube at the same time that I'm live on TikTok. So you can go on my YouTube page and find that. For those of you guys who are on YouTube, because my YouTube clan is growing. We got a lot of people on YouTube as well. Okay, viewing as well. We got a good growing, and I'm growing a lot on subscribers on there. So for those of you guys who are on YouTube, make sure you go and rewatch the live if you missed any parts, and make sure for those of you on TikTok that you're subscribing to my YouTube page, because I'm posting a whole lot on there. I literally just posted yesterday. Okay, posting a lot of good stuff on there. If you have a personal question for me, you can go on my Instagram and follow me on Instagram as well. For those of you who are on YouTube, you can follow my Instagram as well. It's right there. If you have a personal question for me or just want to keep up with everything I'm doing and be right up my butthole every day. Okay. So I hope you guys have a great rest of your night. I'll be back again tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern time exactly. You got to figure out what time that is in your time zone. But 4 p.m. Eastern time, I'll be back on again, ready to talk with you and love on you and have a great time with you. Someone said we need a group chat. I'm going to make like a Discord or a group chat or something that we can all be a part of for sure. For sure. I'm going to get to that. All right. Bye, guys. I love you so much. I'm going to see you tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern. Be there or b square.